Hey folks, so today I'm coming at you with some great news on the Qubic network and then just some other details and general news from the latest epoch. As usual, I'll start by sharing you some of the bad news that's out there, and then we'll go into the really great news that we're seeing this week, and it's been exciting and worth the wait. So let's get into it. Okay, so to begin with, I just want to talk because if you watched the video that I shared yesterday, I was talking about people FUDing, sharing FUD in my videos, but it was actually genuine FUD. And as always, I want to give you guys a balanced perspective. I don't want to just talk moon boy targets. I don't want to always say this is brilliant, this is great. There's no chance that you can lose your money. And the person, I should have put their post in here, but anyway, it's too late. But the person had shared, and they were talking about this guy here, Braver Crypto, who I sometimes share some of their tips and share some of the cryptos that they're talking about and some of their predictions. And the person was just pointing out, very fairly, just pointing out that they have made some bad shouts in the past. And I've actually, because as you would have seen in yesterday's video, I completely agreed with this person's point of view, is that, Braver Crypto is just a human, and they're trying to give early shouts on low cap crypto projects. There's obviously, if you're hoping to get like 90% or even 70% of them right, but there's obviously going to be other ones that you don't get right when you're trying to make those early calls. I think from what I've seen, the Braver Crypto gets a lot of shouts right. I think they're a genuine person, but definitely they get a lot wrong, and you got to be careful of that. And I'm never sharing Braver Crypto as an oracle or a person that knows everything. I'm just always sharing them as a reference point and as an interesting point to start a conversation. But anyway, what I did just myself was I dug up one of the big failures that I've seen Braver Crypto have just in the last few months that wasn't mentioned by that person that commented on my video. And the Sensor was a project they were promoting quite a lot. And then after promoting it for a week and saying that was going to be a great project, then one morning they just said Sensor is dropping like a brick at 2.4 million market cap now, still holding most of my bag, but this is a very steep and concerning fall. Before I get a chance to look into myself later on today, anyone else on here know what's happening? And then he just said that the team isn't responding at all to the is no hope, and this project fell completely down to like a market cap of 77,000 right now. So as you can see, this was a huge failure. It was a genuine rug, and he got it completely wrong here. What I did like is that he didn't delete any of his tweets about it. He came out and said, yeah, it was a rug. I get some of these wrong sometimes. I did my best, and apologies, and that was basically it. So yeah, that's kind of all that I have to say on that. But I just wanted to make the clear point that I'm not saying that Braver Crypto is the most perfect example of a person ever. He gets things wrong, but the only thing is he's a big supporter of Qubic and CAS, and these are different projects. And I just want you to realize that they're not like Sensor. Qubic and CAS are layer one projects. They're built from the absolute bottom. They're not built on top of any other network. They're built from the absolute bottom by core developers. There's so much work put into these projects. The likelihood of them rugging or scamming anyone or of disappearing overnight is very, very low. And the likelihood of them increasing a lot in value over time as ecosystems are built on top of them is very, very high. So they're a lot different to calls that he's made like Sensor that's super high risk, which I think he would have mentioned even at some point. Qubic and CAS and other projects like Tau, they're super low risk and super high return expected from them. Right, so moving on. The next bit of bad news that I have is from Sergey Ivanov in the group Discord. And Sergey just shared that a few days ago I got expelled. Funnily enough, just an interesting point, Sergey Ivanov doesn't actually speak English, and I only learned that recently. A lot of what he can write in English pretty well, and a lot of it, I think, through translation bots, he's probably writing as well. But he said a few days ago, I got expelled from the last exchange, which had been possible to use to legalize money obtained from selling queues dedicated for AGARD. So basically, what he's been saying is this is geopolitical stuff. So the issue that he's having is that where he's based, which is Belarus, you can see that they're not allowing him anymore to trade on those sites, or the sites that he's working with don't allow people from Belarus to trade on them. And he's gone through every site, and this was the last one, which was Bitstamp. So as you can see, he said, as a result, we're terminating your Bitstamp account. And Sergey Ivanov is going to have to leave. He's going to have to leave Belarus now and find a different country to live in so that he can continue his work on the Qubic project. So a few interesting points here. Firstly, really interesting that he's that committed to the project that he's going to leave his country, his home country, and travel somewhere else to continue working on the project, but which I'm sure is extremely sad for him too. But a really interesting point, or another thought about this is, this is proof that he at the moment is selling Qubic to work on Agard, and without it he can he can't pay for the fine tuning of the solution found by Qubic miners. And this problem is severe enough to make me change my residence, and I'm looking for a crypto-friendly country. So he basically needs to sell Q to continue working on Agard. And, I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of the price being driven down at the moment is from Sergey Ivancheglov's sales. A lot of people mightn't feel good about that. I'm not concerned. I'm happy to see the price going down because it's a better time to buy. Where Qubic is going, if it works, someone like Ivancheglo selling some of their Qubic isn't going to be having downward pressure on the price, so it shouldn't be an issue that he's selling Qubic. Right, let's move on to some of the good news. So this is just the moderately good news, but this is great to see in the Qubic Discord. Every week they're adding updates and improving features. So just to see this continuous development of this decentralized network, of this open source community driven project happening. And we can see now that the web wallet has updated to a version 3.8. We can see that it's given a huge thank you to all the translators in the community. And then we can see that their Explorer version 1.3 is out, and they've added new Arabic language support, link to network status in the footer, and automatic language setting based on browser language. So just minor updates, but great to see that we're seeing continuous development in the Qubic network. Okay, on to the big news and the exciting news. And this was something that I was saying yesterday that I did not expect to see this week, but it's happened finally. We've been waiting about a month now, but QX is live. So the Qubic decentralized exchange is live on the Qubic network, the Qubic main net, and the news is exciting when it comes to it. So we've got other small updates here, enhanced mining parameters, so stuff that an idiot like me doesn't really understand, network capacity increase, things that I'm sure are very good, but I'm not clever enough to understand or know the details of. But what I'm really concerned with is QX, and it being the first decentralized app now that is launched on Qubic mainnet. Really big deal to see that there's decentralized apps able to work on the Qubic network, and this is going to open the door to so many more decentralized apps. But as we know, the DEX is the main app that you need to have on a blockchain or crypto network like Qubic. You need to be able to make trades on the chain, and QX has not disappointed or not under-delivered. So what we're hearing is that firstly, you as we know, there's feeless transactions for smart contracts on the Qubic network, but obviously QX needs to have some way to make some sort of money. But unlike with Ethereum, or unlike with so many of these other networks, with the Qubic network, you can basically trade for free. So an example of it is what it says here. Ever have an ERC20 token and wanted to trade it, but you did not have enough ETH to pay the gas fees, which is really, really annoying. With Qubic, if you have the token, you can post and ask at a total cost of 0Q, and when it sells, the 0.5 fee is taken from the proceeds and goes to the QX shareholders. So you can trade for free without needing to have any Qubic to pay for gas fees. Just when you sell that crypto in the future, it's that 0.5 fee is taken then. So it saves this really annoying thing. If you're used to trading on a lot of these platforms, it's so annoying to have to buy buy Ethereum or buy some Binance coin or whatever coin it is that's the chain that you're trading on, and you need to have that coin just to pay for the gas fees, and you often end up with some of this that currency like Ethereum or Binance coin that's just sitting there being used for nothing just because you want to keep it just in case at some point you're trading in the future. That's not going to be an issue with Qubic. You won't need to hold Qubic to trade on QX. And then it says here that even if the price is 200Q, you only pay 1Q. There is no fixed fee on top of the 0.5. Seems QX will have the lowest trading friction and able to handle tens of thousands of trades per second. So a lot of volumes will migrate to Qubic. So basically, what this is saying, it's really inexpensive to trade on QX. You don't need to hold any Q to trade on QX, and it's super, super fast with what seems to be the lowest trading friction there is in crypto right now. And we would expect a lot of volumes to just migrate to Qubic for that reason, because it's less expensive and it's really quick to push your transactions through. So that's huge, huge, huge news. Don't expect that to reflect in the price overnight. Expect this to reflect in Qubic price over the coming year and coming years, and this to add to the Qubic ecosystem in a massive way. And of course, then as we already know, there's a game called My Last Match coming out in the future as well. The IPO is going to be held soon, which is going to lead to probably trillions of Qubic being burned overnight. And also, that just shows where the ecosystem is going as well. So now we've got our DEX. Next, we're going to get games being built on the Qubic network. Just imagine what the future holds for all the apps that are going to be built on top of this Qubic network as Agart is developing, and that's what Sergey Ivanov is working on in detail at the moment. And then now with QX launched, the next thing that we have is the Q wallet, and then we've got the QX user interface that we're gonna get hit with. That's going to make it very user friendly to trade with QX. And then of course we've got liquidity pools that are going to be built on top of the Qubic QX as well. So just we're seeing really standard decentralized finance things being built on top of Qubic, but these are going to be truly unique because they've got that really, really fast transaction speeds that Qubic takes advantage of, and the low cost that Qubic allows us to take advantage of. Then the great news that we got the other day was, and Tommy Does Crypto posted this, and the Altcoinist posted this. And by the way, Tommy Does Crypto, he just launched a YouTube channel. He's put out his first YouTube video. Really recommend checking out his YouTube channel. That first video looks great, and I imagine he's going to have a great YouTube channel. So really just support the Qubic community. If you're interested in doing that, I recommend just jumping over straight after this video and subscribing to his channel, because let's give this guy a push, and let's get him going. Let's raise the tide for all of us and get all our channels going, and because we're all early in Qubic, so let's all get our help and boost each other together at this early stage. But anyway, what Tommy and Altcoinist were all saying yesterday was that Qubic was finally getting that tier 2 listing, which was on gate.io. Still seems to be happening, but we've got no official announcement yet. So let's see how that develops. But trust me, a lot of these tier 2 listings, but they should be coming soon. Look, I don't know. I have no insider information, but everything's in place on the Qubic network to make those listings happen. so it shouldn't be long. And then come from beyond, or Sergey Ivanov was just making some tweets recently that were worth seeing. So he said, and this confused me at first, didn't really know what he meant, but he said, after many steps of gradual synapses per neuron increase, we've finally reached the level of the human brain. Now, that sounds super exciting, but you got to dig into what he was saying. So I went onto the Discord and saw some questions here, and they said, what do you mean by the level of the human brain? I thought we were at the level of a fly. So basically, Sergey Ivanov has been saying recently that AGART and the AI that we're building is just at the intelligence of a human fly right now. But then, he comes out with this statement talking about the human brain and saying that we've reached a level of the human brain. Caused a little bit of confusion for me and Peter here. But come from beyond then clarified is that he meant synapses per neuron. We still have too few neurons. And then Peter asked, how many neurons do we need? And come from beyond said trillions. So we're at the point where for each individual neuron, we have the same number of synapses as the human brain, which has been a huge development, and that's huge in itself. But now we need trillions of neurons to each have that and all of those trillions of neurons are going to have that level of synapses. So again, that's probably 3 years away from what Sergey's been saying. But again, why this is interesting to share and really interesting is to see the progress that's continuously happening on the Qubic network and the continuous development that's happening. And then if we look at the Qubic price today, it's back down. And I even said this in my video yesterday. I'm not the sort of person that's trying to trade with Qubic. I don't want to, when I see a spike happen, I don't sell instantly and try and buy in lower, because that's just a recipe for disaster. I just want to hold and wait, and I keep hoping the price will go down and more so I can buy more and more Qubic. But I'm not trying to be clever with trading. But I could see yesterday a huge spike came and Qubic went momentarily back over a 5 here. And as I shared my video yesterday, I felt like it was just a sell the news event and we'd see Qubic falling again. And we're obviously seeing sales of Qubic from the miners again, which is driving the price down and the value down. And as we could see today, the whole crypto market, and to be honest, it seems like most stocks and shares are down this week. So the whole market is down. This is just good news for us. It's a good time to continue buying more Qubic, and let's hope that price keeps falling for now, because it's most likely, I never want to speak in certainties, but it's most likely going to shoot up over the next year or two. So let's be ready for that. And then into the distant future as well. So that's basically all that I have for you today, guys. I recommend now just going over and subscribing, watching Tommy Does Crypto's first YouTube video and subscribing and giving that guy some support. And I'll share that at the end of this video if I think of it. And guys, I will see you all on the outside.